Crypto has had a checkered history. The crypto market was largely born out of a resistance to government oversight of financial trading, and millions have been drawn into it, partly because it did not require regulatory compliance. While this has made cryptocurrencies hugely popular, it also means that the money being traded is potentially at risk of disappearing. Can crypto be both safe and profitable? Now, excitement around the crypto market at large continues to build as it moves into the mainstream. So what innovations excite even you about the future of crypto?
Surprisingly enough, from a centralized exchange operator, it's DeFi, or decentralized finance, that actually excites me the most about the future of this market. I come from traditional finance, the centralized market, meaning there's one controlling body that kind of controls everything that happens in that market from a high level. DeFi changes that by creating a decentralized model, meaning that there isn't one set central hub that's controlling markets and controlling market flow. It is multiple hubs. It means many people, many computers, many, whatever the case may be, many nodes that are actually controlling and making decisions. And that empowers a lot more people than the current traditional markets empower. And to me, that's going to be kind of the car that we ride on for the next 4 to 5 years, even upwards of 10 years, on how this crypto market is going to fundamentally change the way traditional finance operates. And when my 10-year-old daughter goes to college and she learns about traditional finance, that will be, in many ways, what we're doing now versus what's been done for the last 100 years.
Many people have a much more pessimistic view of the crypto market. Why is that? I mean, what's holding it back from a wider audience?
I think that's natural. I think it's human nature. Anytime something is new and people don't understand it, they tend to fear it. And when they fear it, they tend to be negative towards it. As we start to go out and make people understand what these markets really are, how they work and how they function, we are reducing the fear. When we reduce the fear, we will end up seeing more and more people understand and take the leap into this market. The other thing that may concern possible or potential investors into this market is volatility. But with a nuanced market, with a new market, with a market that is still only a little more than 10 years old, volatility is actually a friend. Think of volatility as you would think of credit. People misuse credit all the time, and when you misuse credit, you go down a bad path. But if you use credit wisely, it can actually benefit you in many, many ways. Think of volatility the same way. Volatility can be very beneficial.
So if the market is growing organically, why is there the need for regulation?
I think there still is, we still have many, many, many more years of growth ahead of us until we can even come close to the size of traditional finance. You're talking about a $3 trillion market versus a market worth quadrillions of US dollars. We are still a baby in comparison to traditional finance. Traditional finance, in part, got to where it is because of rules, because of laws, because it shaped the way that people could interact with the market. Now, most people in crypto feel that how that was shaped, the shapes that were made to encapsulate traditional finance were done wrong, meaning they cut off a lot of access to a lot of people. And I think they're right. However, there's no way to kind of eclipse the current ceiling that we're seeing, this kind of 3 trillion, 4 trillion ceiling. The way to do that is to create frameworks so that we can guide the market to the next phase. And that next phase is going to be more and more adoption. And it's going to be from institutions, that's going to be from individuals. And those guidelines are going to help us get there. It's not the only thing we need, but it definitely is a major piece of the puzzle to get us to that next phase.
Where does Coinmetro fit in? Define what you do to take crypto forward.
We're doing a lot of things differently. I think we were one of the first companies in the industry to actually focus on regulation. We talk to regulators. We openly talk to regulators. We are honest with regulators. We pursue regulation. We don't do that because we think it's perfect. We do that because we know that we need it in order to expand, again, into that next phase of this market. So we've acquired lots of licensing, lots of registrations around the world with different regulators, and we continue to do that today. And we'll be continuing to do that for years to come. I think it's very important. It shows that the market is maturing, and a maturing market generally opens up doors to more and more people. On top of that, it's all about experience. When you deal with traditional financial companies or crypto companies, no one ever usually leaves a phone call or a chat with a bank or the brokerage or with an exchange feeling like it was a great conversation. Usually it's the other way around. You get frustrated, you have long hold times, nobody's there to answer your question, you get a canned response. All these things really make this whole interaction difficult. We want to change that. We provide 24/7 support with knowledgeable people that actually answer questions. We have the best rating on Trustpilot when it comes to exchanges in this industry. And there's a reason for that. It's because our client experience is second to none. And I think the combination of opening doors and actually treating people like people and treating their problems like they're our problems definitely separates us from the competition. There are many other things we do from the product side, things we offer, passive income, different vehicles that people can actually earn money from without actually having to understand how to trade, how blockchain works, all these questions that come into people's minds. Remember that we use things every day, we don't understand how they work. Most people can't explain how a car works, how the internet works, but we use it. And we need to get people to that point in terms of crypto as well, that they can use these services without having to understand exactly all the bells and whistles on how they work underneath.
What's next for Coinmetro? I mean, where do you expect to be in, say, the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, 5 or 10 years in crypto is about a lifetime, I think. But generally in the next 3 to 5 years, I believe that Coinmetro is headed down a path of kind of a hybrid platform. What that means is we're going to take elements of decentralized finance, elements of traditional finance, and come to a very happy medium that allows us to stay regulated, that allows us to appease the legislators and the regulators, and at the same time open up doors for new clients, give access to new people, and provide these awesome passive income opportunities to a much wider berth around the world, because I think that is actually the most important thing. Remember that most wealth is not created with blood, sweat, and tears. Most wealth is created because you have access to tools and services that actually help generate wealth passively. And the problem is most of the world's never had access to that. So that's the main thing we want to change, and I think that's what the next 3, 5, even 10 years looks like for Coinmetro.